We now have Japan warning its citizens to prepare for a strike from North Korea. Now, given this could happen at any time, and one of the last launches they did of a test landed just offshore of Japan, they can definitely hit Japan. They talk about hitting these other places. Japan definitely on the radar. And Japan saying, despite what the mainstream media says, there's really not a whole lot Japan can do. Now, for those that missed it, Japan, ever since the big World War when they got bombed, the pact that they signed means they can no longer have an offensive military. Meaning they can no longer go and wage war like other countries can because of that pact. Now, what they can do is assist other countries like the United States or others in defending their country if their country is at risk from, say, someone like Kim Jong-un, which they're in that situation now. So what would happen if they got hit? Well, at this point, they're telling the people that a missile may get launched and it may already be in the air for a couple of minutes before they can pick it up and sound the sirens. They're trying to give like a 5-minute window where once these things are launched, the sirens will go off and people will have to find a spot to hide quickly. Underground, if they admit here, they say you're going to have to randomly choose a building that might make it and get deep underground because they have no clue where these things are going to fall, if and when they do. They pretty much wherever they want to strike, they're going to hit, and it's all going to be at random. They know they're going to be in the air. There can be things deployed to try to stop it and shoot them down out of the sky. But if they miss them, they're going to hit in random locations across the city. There's nothing they can do, they say. So they're trying to warn people in advance. And in Japan, they really feel like this isn't a question of if, but when. They really feel like this is going to pop off at some point. It's hard for me to believe that you're going to take down Kim Jong-un, his military, this whole thing, without them firing off some shots. Unless somebody just drops a huge bomb and wipes them all out. But at the same time, you have all the innocent people that are going to get slaughtered in the mix. See, that's the thing. That's the part of the equation that I think they're not talking about right now in the mainstream. This is what they're doing quietly. If you pay attention to what they're doing in South Korea, they're bringing in massive carriers. Tons of equipment. I mean, tons of equipment. You're like, well, where are all the troops that are going to man all this stuff? Well, I think that's not to be seen. And I think there's definitely tactical groups being trained to go across the border, to deal with refugees, to take out certain locations in this instance. There's no way you can eliminate these guys with just an airstrike, just like there's no way that you can eliminate them with just ground units. You need a combination here. And, once they strike one place, once one bomb lands and it's on, there's no turning back. Once they hit Japan once, they could be relentless and they could hit them multiple times. The thing is once they launch, they have to be strategic of where they strike because they're going to get a volley of missiles coming their way in return. To me, one of the primary targets for them is going to be South Korea in their main base there. I think that's why you're seeing all the equipment being brought in there. But, this is one of those things I've said for a long time. You mark my words, you will see a mushroom cloud coming off that Korean peninsula. Fired by who? How? I don't know, but I've said it for years. And I believe it's going to come to life here one of these days. Not a question of if, but when. Now, should you sit there stressing every day, wondering, is it going to happen tomorrow? Is it going to... No. You should not, but you should be smart about everything. And if you are within striking distance here of this country, have a plan. Also here in this country, you know how they like to stage things. You know how they like to blame stuff on the boogeyman. What happens if the lights go out? in your little emergency radio saying, North Korea hit us with an EMP. Are you going to buy that? You know how many people across the country will because they don't know any better? Those are the things I'm warning about. And as far as them striking us here in this country with a missile from North Korea, get out of here. With all the tech we got, if it happened, somebody let it happen. And don't you forget it. But that's some of the latest here coming out of Japan. I will leave a link and update with more as I come across it. It's been Dabu7.